this is the review screen.
Yeah, I think review number one should have definitely gone over the mission stuff.
Uh,
I guess like what it means basically, because well, yeah, I guess just like in general, just what short is how much XP, and it's roughly like what, a week, is it?
so the missions, the mission length, well, actually just the missions in general, aren't. I'm trying not to tie them to actual in-game time. It is just a descriptor of an abstraction of how many sessions you have to complete it once you start it.
But in-game time is pretty important in the choice of things that we attend to. I mean, I say this is an XCOM vet and a vet of a 4E game where the DM was doing something a little bit similar.
It
There was an
is.
occasion where we managed to kill 2 mission birds with 1 stone in a highly irresponsible way, for example, and that was very good for our characters and very bad for our reputation.
Hmm.
But the opportunity was not to be missed.
For
Eh,
oh, go ahead.
So, for example, the question that occurred to me immediately on reading that briefing is, okay, so the pirate queen, whoever, wants to have a conference. That can't possibly take that long unless it's scheduled for like a week from now, right?
Right, presumably it wouldn't take very long.
Pirates usually settle their business pretty quickly, you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we should do that first because it will be over, and the others will not have had much chance to, rot on the vine in that time.
That's natural
Link
think.
into something else?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
No, go ahead, say your thing first, and then I'll say my thing.
Okay, so that's natural thinking. Oh, hi. That's certainly a natural thought process there. However, if you end up with a short mission, and I mean time-wise short, it only takes the Raza a couple of days, like you basically had with the very first mission this crew ever did. I'm abstracting time in such a way that one, you'll always be back at Drysun when everybody else that's been on missions or gone on missions is back. I'm doing that by abstracting the time. So if you send off one of your mission commanders to do something that takes them a few weeks, and you go and do something that takes 2 days, then they went off nearly immediately upon your last interaction with them, and you sat around for a week or two waiting for the thing to happen, and then you went, and when you got back, they came back. So I definitely agree that the thinking of we can do this short thing and the others will not have had as much time to rot is valid thinking, but I'm very explicitly keeping the timing and the time of things abstract, somewhat to make sure that you always have the full choice of NPCs, and I don't have to track, no, you can't take this NPC on your ship because they're off doing that. I think that would be less fun than you being able to choose from the full roster. And also, as a part of the campaign, there are campaign reasons for breaking these up into explicit mission turns instead of just keying things to time. Like, it would have been just as easy for me to say, okay, Dark Cold Silence has a expiration time of 2 weeks, and if they haven't gotten to it before then it evolves or it changes.
Right, which probably is what I would do in your shoes, but it's your game. Go on.
I am doing it differently than that for presentation and mechanical reasons. I hope they'll become a little bit clearer as things go on, but I might have a few too many things under the covers. So I guess
That's all right.
I think where I want to circle myself back around to is, yeah, you have a valid point, but I am asking you to, instead of following that thought, to just abstract all the timing involved in all of this, and just think about each mission as each mission turn as an individual pocket of abstracted time where when you go off and you do something, everything in the sector and everything in those missions is going to have some time allocated to it and is going to evolve into the next version on the next mission turn.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. If anybody cares about the under the hood stuff, I'd use clocks, and I just wouldn't advance the other missions' clocks by as much, depending on what it is we did in travel time. For Blades in the Dark, I mean, which are basically still a time counting mechanic, but not a literal one. Anyway, no, I get it, and those are the rules. I got you. No problem.
Cool. Ben,
I'm like, oh, go on.
yeah, I was actually going to ask you to clarify, because I'm not sure I heard a question so much in your initial, the first things you said there.
I think it was just more to make sure that it was explained.
Yeah, I just wanted to be sure I understood how it worked.
Oh, I gotcha. You were basically chastising me for leaving Aura in the dark. I'm kidding. But I did do that, and I shouldn't have. I really should have sat down with Aura in a session 0 design to explain what all of this stuff was, because, well,
it doesn't change much apart from some details from my end. But
fair, and I appreciate your understanding and tolerance there.
I'm back, by the way.
Okay.
Hello.
I was going to make a say, although you may have already covered it while I was out. But even if it, even if it was a thing that we could do quickly because it's a pirate, because it's just like a meeting, it still takes days to weeks of travel time, just because of the nature of space travel.
Right, but it's in the same system as us, so you'd expect that to be simpler.
Yeah, that one is in the same system as you guys. It's basically
all signs
in your
apart
backyard.
From maybe she won't let us in immediately point to that one shouldn't take that long.
Okay. Then the question from there was, if it would be possible to slingshot directly from that into another one.
Yeah, and
play a bit of Burnout Paradise.
And I would allow that as a fictional conceit. However, I would still break it up into, okay, this is the next mission turn.
Okay.
But it does mean that I don't have to sit here and think, well, how far away is that from the system we're in? Which is actually a relief in some ways. It's not even like, I'm not even criticizing the system. I just wanted to know what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, and that actually was one of the things I explicitly wanted out of this, was for, like, without that, you just say, okay, we'll do the Ren thing, and okay, that took 2 days. Now we pick the next shortest, and I felt like that put too much weight on the amount of time it would take and less weight on how interesting it seemed and how valuable it seemed. So,
yeah, again, I'm not totally sure I agree, but this is the game we're playing, and so let's do that.
To be fair, it's one of those things that I keep referencing to that video. What changes? I changed a seemingly small little thing that has sweeping, perhaps unintended consequences, but we'll see if it achieves the result I actually wanted or if it spoils it in some way. All of that is still yet to be seen.
So this reminds me, you mentioned that we would discuss what Mercure Intel means.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. So, when you get intel for a, like, not just you got something. When you get, as a bonus reward, me explicitly saying you get 1 Mercure Intel, you can use that intel to instantly resolve a mission. You don't even have to send a mission commander to it. It's just I work it into the fiction some way, probably collaborating with you guys as to how that intel works to resolve that mission involving that corporation. So you could use that intel to say, we want to resolve drive-in for a world. You can also use that intel to tell me what mission you want. Like, to basically make up a mission. I'll give you an example. You've recently learned that Spectre Star has sued Raza and turned over Portia Lynn. That involves Spectre Star and Galactic Mandate. If you had one Spectre Star intel or one Galactic Mandate intel, I would let you use that to say, we want a mission to go and retrieve Portia Lynn. And depending on whether it was Spectre Star or Galactic Mandate, that would determine what kind of mission it was. But it would basically be you saying, you've planted this thing in the world, now we want to do something involving it. Does that make sense?
Vaguely.
I forget what the term is in gaming, but it's a fucking, what do you call it? I know what you mean, though. It's like, it's basically an opportunity. Either you can use it to get out of jail for free, in essence, or can use it to cause like an interruption in a way to a mission, or to like an event.
Right. So if we had Union intel, like logically, we could use it to make graveyard exorcism go well by causing the Union people to not be suspicious somehow, or to be suspicious but ignore them somehow, or something like that. It's the most immediately obvious use of intel I can see here.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, you would completely resolve graveyard exorcism. It would be as if you sent a phantom mission commander who succeeded. Period.
That's very powerful.
I think we should save them, and then never use them. We'll get to the end of the game like, oh.
I was about to say we should use them immediately. As soon as a good opportunity presents itself, so that we don't hoard them like dumb RPG players.
What do you have now? Because I can't see.
We've got one Mercure intel.
Alright, so if there's anything I've learned, it's that using Mercure for anything will end badly.
What? The Mercure-related missions are Drive-In for a World.
Actually, I want to use it to make them file an amicus brief in Daddy Warbucks 4. I don't know what an amicus brief is, but I'm still going to say no. It's when somebody who's not directly involved in a legal matter files a brief explaining why they should be and what their opinion is.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that
can they make a comment filing?
No, that you can make a mission for you to partake in, or you can solve something that's already existing, and Mercure Corps isn't involved with Daddy Warbucks. At least not enough that the intel would be able to resolve that mission completely.
So knowing that Mercure is involved in the drive-in for a world, and that we could make that resolve not flawlessly necessarily, but successfully by the expenditure of that Mercure intel is tempting.
I mean, from what I overheard earlier, the logical result of spending the Mercure intel on that mission is that both Mercure and the Raza have an infodrive now.
No, it resolves it successfully in your favor.
Okay. You're going to use the intel to blackmail a Mercure retrieval team to do the operation and then mysteriously lose Admiral Paris. Got it.
So we'll use that as an example. Let's say you did use the Mercure intel. This particular Mercure intel is related to the Nox and drugs that they were using and all that stuff. And so it would be it certainly would be blackmail. You would somebody from the Raza available staff, one of the named NPCs here, would get in contact with Claire Pascal or somebody else at that location discreetly, avoiding Galactic Mandate contact, and basically trade that information to him with the explicit promise of, okay, we're deleting it, that kind of thing, enforced mechanically, and Pascal would resolve whatever you would have gotten from successfully completing this mission with no hindrances and no obstacles. No
then
pissing
we
off,
actually really should use that.
no pissing off Galactic Mandate, no pissing off Mercure. You just get it done.
So, new vote is that we
sounds
use
like
that
a really
there.
good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like when you send an NPC mission commander to a mission, they're gonna roll. The NPCs are going to roll, and when they succeed on it, they're just going to get the basic success. They don't have the opportunity to get all the bonuses that you get during the course of a mission, but they've succeeded and they've cleared out whatever that mission was doing. The same applies to your mission intel or your intel. There's just no roll to it. The roll is successful. So you lose out on whatever bonus opportunities would have been available if you had done it yourself, but it's done and you got something else done on these missions that have their own timers.
I still say we use it there. We have a lot of time to save here, and that's a high enough DC that I worry about sending somebody that isn't us. But I also really don't want to send an away team for the David mission. We have too little information to trust it there.
I definitely agree with the first half, even knowing what little I know. I was going to ask what the cutoff difficulty where you'd want to consider using intel was. So that makes sense.
Most of them that we get are 8 and 10. We occasionally get a 6. So we kind of reserve. We want to do the 10s.
You've seen 112, if I remember right.
Yeah, which one was that?
I don't remember right.
in any case, that difficulty only applies to the NPCs making the roll.
Oh, actually, what you just did, Nox Essentials was assigned a difficulty 12.
Cool.
Well, yeah, right. So
oh man, we did so good on that mission.
Automatic success. Sure.
Yeah.
I think the next difficulty 12 we're going to have is Daddy Warbucks in a minute.
So let me ask one more quick review question. And that is, this session was all roleplay, and for a large part of it, individual scenes that didn't make sense to include a lot of characters in. How boring was that for all of you over the course of the 4 hours?
I found it a laugh.
Okay.
I enjoyed it a lot. I was actually going to thank you for the abundance of dialogue-heavy character scenes.
Yeah. You're welcome. Does anybody have any complaints about how this session was paced and presented?
I was moderately bored.
Okay.
But I don't think that's anybody's fault. I think that happens to come of having been introduced to the game at a point where I don't really have anything to grab onto just yet. So that's okay.
Okay. I'll definitely work more on getting Izya
I think it'll take care of itself with more, time and mission happenings. It'll be okay, man.
I agree. But
yeah.
We've got one more intermission session, and I'd like to give you a little more time in that. So
I think at least I'm going to have to get in the stupid chair at some point.
Yeah, Max is going to
during this next one, so.
Perfect. And I'll probably spring some other surprise NPC interactions on you.
Yeah, you get some stuff to work with. I'm not worried about it. I'm just saying.
Okay, cool.
It comes with being the new guy. It's not even a problem with how the game's running. It's just what it is sometimes.
All right.
While Marcus is trying to raid Amaya's room, you can raid his room.
Oh boy.
Find a whole lot of nothing. Woo!
One last question. How great was my destruction and perversion of the Sound of Silence there?
As soon as it got past the first line, I'm like, literally, I saw the title, I'm like, huh. Got past the first line, I'm like, okay.
The fact that it was destroyed and perverted, but then also read by that creepy voice made it just seem perfect.
Yeah, it was way worse for that voice.
Ah, perfect. Good. Effect achieved.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was disturbing, and I hope that was what you were going for.
It
No,
generally...
It's weird. It was weird.
It generally is with the David stuff. You should be able to do a quick Control F in the Artemis Black News channel and type in David and see some of the weird shit that he said over the course of 2 campaigns. Oh no, that won't all get... Okay, yeah, it will. It gets them all. Yep.
Of course, you realize with 3 mission teams, if we use the intel on Drive In for a World, you then have to do one of the missions you don't want to do, which I assume is Graveyard Exorcism.
I mean, it's not that I don't want to do them. It's more of a fucking. We have 3 missions that are really important.
Yeah, that's true. That's bad phrasing. You then have to do one of the missions you weren't planning on biting off originally.
Yeah, whichever. Like at that point, it doesn't matter as long as they aren't doing Daddy Warbucks.
I can tell you, Izzy will have something to say about that one, though.
Because we have to do Daddy Warbucks.
Izzy will have something to say about Graveyard Exorcism, so that'll be fun if so.
Yeah.
A question, an in-universe question.
Mhm.
We have the briefing for these missions in character. Do we have the names of these missions in character?
You know what? Let's say yes. Alyssa Carter is putting her stamp on her duties, and she has named them. She doesn't have the Roman numerals there.
Okay.
That's purely for your information, so that you can quickly at a glance see how many times the mission has evolved from when it was introduced.
Okay, so we were given a piece of paper with the words Daddy Warbucks on it.
Yes, you have been, yes.
But the important thing to note here is we don't know what number it goes up to yet.
It's a lawsuit. It goes on until everybody involved runs out of money.
Well, the lawsuit is actually separate from Daddy Warbucks. It's just that the lawsuit is impacting how you would go about Daddy Warbucks and the importance of it.
So the best thing about this is we know that Zoe is one of the directors of Raza. And these are now official internal Raza communications. And they've got our liaison's stamp and names on them, which means that Zoe knows that we are discussing this impending possibility and referring to her father as Daddy Warbucks.
Zoe may not be pleased by this.
This couldn't be better.
You know what? Every time she reads the mission reports and it comes to that section, she just throws the data slab at the wall and goes, "Grab a new one."
Everything below it just isn't read. She hasn't read any of it. But yeah, I do think Daddy Warbucks is the next initiative pass at this point. I feel like we're going to need that for the lawsuit.
Well, I think we can close out the session and the review with that, unless anybody has any other comments or suggestions or criticisms. any feedback at all, then we'll go ahead and close out the session today, and let you discuss the planning and the use. Excuse me. The use of your intel, if you want to use it, which sounds like you've pretty much already decided. What missions you want. I also do need to know what your final plans are for the ship. I'll tell you that you're guaranteed to get at least 2 assets from the mission you just completed. That's guaranteed. Even if you commissioned a battleship from the Bureau, you would still get 2 assets for it. For that mission, you get 2 assets and a battleship eventually. So you're going to have 2 mission commanders guaranteed. Depending on what you end up doing for the ship, that mission could reward up to 5 assets. And I'm sorry if that was too much numbers for anyone. I just blurted it out.
See, I just had us getting a cruiser and all of that, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream.